What up? Get on in here. What's going on? I'm Scott from KONIG, and today we're going to introduce you to a different type of project, and that is this shop that we have picked up to make dedicated builds and to kind of be able to get you more wheel and tire brake data. I'll explain that in a second, but here's the thing. We're starting here in this office, pretty underwhelming right now, pretty small, not really meant to do much, but at the end of the day, we got a bathroom, which is always really important. And in addition to the bathroom, I think we'll color this up a little bit, maybe throw my driving sim in here, a couch. You know, we already got the good old ancient Nas refrigerator on here. And then on top of that, you know, maybe we'll do a little workstation action. So nothing crazy going on here. This really isn't made. We actually have a whole office that we can use for all that stuff. But this is where we hope the magic will happen. And it's about 2,000 square feet of dedicated shop space that's going to allow us to do not only personal projects, if you guys want to see them, we'll talk about that in a second, but it will also allow us to do some things that may help to increase the technical stuff that we're bringing you. And what I mean is not just the content, not just the podcasts, not just the car anatomies, not just all the wheel fitment tech stuff that we always do with you guys, but it's also going to allow us to get a much larger, much faster library of calipers and fender arch data. What does that do for you? Let's sum it up. That data is what we determine and what we use right now to be able to decide what fits your cars, how we develop wheels, what the spoke profiles look like, and be able to answer your questions when you email us at fitment@konigwheels.com. When you say to us, hey, does this brake work over this wheel? We use all that data that we have now, and we have a lot of data, and we have been continuously scanning cars for a long time. The problem is we're always at the whim of using somebody else's shop. We don't do it at our warehouse. That would get messy. There's some people that do. They set up, you know, shop locations like kind of in their warehouse. It's not what we want to do. This would be more of a technical and R&D center for us to be able to get everything done, get everything measured, make sure that we are, you know, kind of staying in the higher end of technology with all these vehicles coming out and all these different brakes and knowing what the fender arch looks like. But then, in addition to that, we're gonna have some personal projects that happen usually in our after hours. And in our after hours, I wonder if you guys wanna see this stuff. If you guys wanna see some of our own personal projects that we do on the weekends, because we're car people, and on the weekends, you usually will find us working on cars or helping each other out with swaps that we're doing. So we were thinking maybe we should bring some of those onto the channel and actually show you the builds that we work on all the time. So if you want to see any of that, let us know. If you don't, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Just go somewhere else, I guess. But if you do, you can see we started to get this place in order. It's fully heated, which is nice because we are on the New York tundra. It's freezing out here, but we're gonna have a lot of different activities going on. There's gonna be a 4-post lift that's gonna go down into that corner. We have a 2-post lift that's right there installed. We're just finishing the electric on it. Over in this area is going to be a work space station. So basically right here is going to find fabrication equipment, welding equipment, 3D printing, toolboxes, rolling service carts, workbench area. That's all gonna be over here. It's probably gonna go right up until about that dividing section right there. So right now, I think what we're gonna do is the shop space for workshop, it's gonna be about out to here. So toolboxes, some other equipment. We're gonna have welding and the fabricating stuff over here, rolling service box. The rolling service boxes will not just be for working on cars, because again, while I think we're gonna bring you some pretty dope projects, I really feel that the biggest thing we're gonna be doing here is gonna be over on the brake fitment side. So, all right, so the lift here is gonna be really important for us, obviously, to do builds and stuff like that, great. But the fitments that we're trying to do is we are trying to make sure that we're coming up with as many brake calipers and scans as possible. What that's gonna do for you is when you eventually go to our website or call a dealer, you're gonna be able to know when somebody says, will this fit, that it absolutely fits. Now, right now, we're doing that already. We're scanning brakes, we're doing a lot of that stuff. The problem is with that type of measurement and with our caliper library, we're only able to get X amount of cars. It just takes a lot of time and we don't have a dedicated space that we're really using just to do brake data and brake fitment. Now, this space will be that. It will allow us to be able to bring as many cars as we possibly can in here and do the 3D scans. Now the 3D scans are not just great because we're gonna have the brake data. We have a lot of brake data. The 3D scans are gonna be great because now we're gonna have your fender arch and your well, so you can ask us very specific questions in the future once we have this and say, how much will it be to flush? Will it go this way? Will it go this way? What if I had, a couple degrees of camber? There might be a lot of variance that we can do with having the data in such a, complex fashion. And there's a lot of great stores right now and a lot of great retailers that do this for you. Maybe not with a camber and things like that, but there's companies like Tire Rack and Discount Tire, and they have full teams of people that just scan brakes. Now, it's not that scanning brake is new for us. We've been scanning brakes for a long time, but being able to really get a lot of the detail and the data and to do it in a more dedicated space where we can continuously roll cars in and out, I think that that's gonna be a game changer. We're gonna really step up our commitment to how many cars we're gonna try to get. So we can reduce the idea that if somebody calls, we kind of know it fits, but we're gonna say we gotta get a test fit going on or something like that. But the second thing that's gonna allow us to do is it's going to allow us to really forecast exactly which vehicles we wanna fit when we develop a wheel, even more so than we do now, and then be able to try to put that data in and make sure that the profile of the wheel is really going to clear all those brakes. And a lot of the things that we struggle with is the aftermarket brake kits. There's so many of them, right? Well, teaming up with brake companies, now we could potentially borrow some of their brake kits for scanning and be able to get them on the car without having to take apart everybody else's brakes. We could just kind of keep their caliper connected, but then, kind of assemble this thing up, try to get some of these measurements. So again, we don't have this all set up, but we're making that commitment for the future to make sure that our stuff is that much better than other stuff that may be on the market. So that's what this space is. Also, I think you're gonna get to see a lot of the stuff that we do maybe in our own time, in our own personal time. And I also think that, Max, what do you think? Like some good podcasting could happen here too. Take you out of the office a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of different shows. So maybe, you'll have a cool car, you're out there rolling on KONIG wheels and you want to say, hey, look, I got this really dope car, have your stuff. And we'll be like, you know what, come by. Let's see what this whole thing looks like. Let's check out your build, right? So, so we're gonna have that space. Again, we're still waiting on some things. We have lifts that are gonna go in here. Well, look, I think it does what it does. And before anybody jumps on me about the M&E lift thing, I'm just telling you right now, these things have been tested. We've been.
You didn't get this on Temu like the tire machine, right?
Surprisingly, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. But here's the thing. Before we ever got the lift, I actually have spoken to a few friends that actually have picked this thing up. They've had them. This is way overkill for probably what we're gonna need. It's an 11,000 pound lift. I really don't ever think we're gonna be in the 11,000 pound range. Again, overkill, sure, but it will allow us to do some truck stuff, especially on our Mamba off-road side, be able to do maybe some Jeep builds or truck builds as we go too. A lot of cool things happening here. I'm really excited for this. It's been the one thing that I think we've thought about for a long time. Right now, we're using other people's shops to go out and scan cars, scan brakes, and our mechanical engineer Raphael is kind of the one that's always running in and out and in and out. And so now we're gonna have a dedicated space that we can get these scans, and we're gonna have a dedicated area where it's gonna have all the fitment tools that we need to really be able to capture the wheel well, capture the brake, capture a lot of vehicle data, and be able to store that data. And I think it's gonna be cool because we have some other cool things that will be available on our website for you to be able to check not only stock cars and big brake cars, but also aftermarket big brakes with different wheels. So the more data we get, the cooler it will be. So that's our space, man. Let us know what you think. I'm super pumped to find out if anybody cares that we're gonna be doing projects here, and do you actually wanna see them? If you don't, let us know you don't below, and what I'll do is I'll keep all my stuff a secret from you, and then we'll just use the space to fit brakes like we were intending to. But I kind of thought, based off of some of the interactions we have in the lives, right, Max? Like people always are saying, what do you drive? What do you do? And we do have a lot of car people here, and we do a lot of car projects. So I think some of them may be fun for you to watch. I haven't exactly figured out what the nuance is going to be. I don't think anybody needs any more how-to projects, but maybe, right?
We're a bunch of cars, so we needed a space.
Yeah, and and look, the fabrication stuff that I'm getting in my garage is getting out of control. No, I'm just kidding. That's not why we got this place. But I'm pretty pumped. You know, again, we're kind of in the process right now. We just put the lift up over the weekend, and we're starting to get some stuff built out. We're in the process of getting the lift all wired up and all the electric run, especially over there for where the fabrication area is going to be, and the tool center there.
Did you really get this on Temu?
Yeah.
People are going to want to know about this.
Yeah, Temu lift. So here's the thing. It's still made by that brand Katul.
No way.
Oh, I swear. Yeah, M&E is a brand of Katul.
Katul
Go
is
figure.
good.
So we have the Katul. If you guys have seen, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch our video where we actually got the Katul mounting machine. For the balancing, we actually use a snap-on machine. So you know. But when it comes down to the mounting machine, we actually took a gamble on the Temu stuff, that Katul brand, and it actually worked out pretty well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the machine's been pretty solid. It has a lot of adjustments, pretty good.
It got Joe Schaefer's sign off.
It got Joe's sign off, except for the fact that he said, well, we'll see if it lasts, right?
It's lasted, so.
It's been fine, but we also aren't an everyday wheel and tire shop, right? But you know, the other thing that we're gonna be doing here is we're gonna actually house a lot of tire inventory, not for selling tires, but one-off tires. This way we can get you, you know, a lot of people say, you know, I'd like to see it on this vehicle or that vehicle or this vehicle. So we're gonna be able to try to make sure that with the mounting machines here and the balancing machines and all this stuff that we can get more sets onto cars to get you more images of the cars that you're asking for. So it's gonna kind of all come around in a circle, right? We got a podcasting place, we got you know, an ability to do our projects, we have an ability to, you know, do some fabrication and some different things. We'll have 3D printing so we can test fit wheels before we go into mold making, scanning the brakes and making sure we're getting you as much brake data and as much technical data. So as we go in the future, it becomes easier and easier and easier for you guys to mate your big brakes, your cars, all these different things together with our wheels. And I believe it's gonna make us even better. The more cars we get, the more we can make a decision on, is that something that we need to add to a given wheel design to make sure the profiles work on different fitments. So that's something we already do, but like this is really gonna take it up a few notches. So I'm pretty pumped about it. Let us know what you think.
Wall of wheels right on that wall.
You know, so we were thinking about doing just some decorative wheels, but I think we should let Luis in here to do some, you know, some artwork. Yeah. Because if I drew, it would be like 2 stick figures holding like a round wheel with like, you know, it would be really bad. So that's it. Let us know what you think. Are you gonna be into watching us do some of these builds and swaps and things that we do on our personal time? And you wanna see that? Or do you want to just see more technical stuff? Or do you not want to see us at all? If you don't want to see this face, just go ahead and throw a comment down below that says enough with the face.
I hate looking at your face. I want to smash it.
So anyhow, so thanks for coming by our shop. I'm pretty pumped. Hope everybody else too. Next time you see this place, hopefully it will be in far different shape. We'll start to be able to turn this thing around, have some equipment in here, have the tools that we need, and be able to start kicking some butt and taking some names, you know, or something like that.
Something like that.
All right.
Nice.
I'm Scott from KONIG. Peace out.